Hi, and welcome to Weekend Meetup. I'm Bill Hunt. Larry's off camera. He's going to interject a few words at the close of this episode, so stay tuned for that. Larry, who as you know is the CEO and the treasurer of this organization, has invested in new software, new camera, and some audio equipment so that we could go beyond Google Hangouts, which is where we started. In our first episodes, we're going to do a little recap here because we've covered quite a lot of territory. We started off in the early days with a report about the flu during flu season with some directions as to where you could get some information from the CDC about how to tell the difference between the flu and the cold and what you could do to prevent or make it a little easier to get through. Perk tests during perk test season in case you needed to get a new septic system. Brought to you Ebenezer Cook and the Saltweed Factor, a poem from the 1700s. We did a little talk about the anti-aircraft guns in front of Leonard Hall Junior Naval Academy, which is right here on the government complex property, artifacts that not everybody's aware of. Talked about Maryland Poet Laureate Stanley Plumley and recited one of his works for Valentine's Day, with another one of his poems coming up in the near future, I hope. We talked about Black-Eyed Susan, which is the floral emblem of Maryland and also comes from a poem. You'll recall that we left that episode with Black-Eyed Susan and Sweet William talking on the deck of the ship. His hands were glowing from friction as he descended the rigging to say goodbye to her. We're going to pick that up where we left off and take it to its conclusion in an upcoming episode, and also give you more information about the flower itself. We've covered raiders and invaders in the War of 1812 in Maryland and Southern Maryland in particular. Covered Maryland Day at St. Clements Island, and we were very fortunate, very pleased that two of our colleagues joined us. CarrieAnn began a series on the critical area, and Hannah talks to us with pet tips. So that brings you up to date. We're going to have more to come, aren't we, Larry?
That's right, and some of the things that we're looking at, Bill, is maybe in the next episode we'll talk a little bit about stuff that's coming up on the 4th of July, and I understand you're going to be out of town on the 4th of July.
I am going to be gone on the 4th of July.
Okay, so we'll see if we can put some together next weekend, and we may or may not have a 4th of July weekend episode. If not, be looking for us the following weekend, but we'll see how next week goes and what we come up with. If we can't fit everything in there, or if we come up with something that's unique, we'll go ahead and do something for that 4th of July weekend. The other thing that I just want to say to everybody is, remember that summer is here, so if you're watching this in Southern Maryland, it's hot and humid outside, so as Hannah would want me to remind you, don't forget about your pets, because you know, they are walking around with a fur coat on. And then the other thing that CarrieAnn would want me to remind you of is if you go out and you're having a picnic and stuff and you're out there along the shoreline, make sure you clean up after yourself and leave things the way you found it. And that's a good way to treat everything as far as nature is concerned. So that's it for me, Bill. Do you have anything?
No, Larry.
Okay, so we didn't really script this, did we? We didn't script that.
Well, we didn't have a plan for what to do while you're talking, but the camera's looking at me because that's going to be pretty dull unless you get some good graphics in there to cover me up. But I'm sure you'll be able to do that between now and Saturday.
Oh, thanks for putting the pressure on. Okay. All right, everybody, that's it for me. Bill, you have anything?
Nope.
Okay, and just before we go, I am a real person.
There you go.
Okay, so thank you everybody for watching Weekend Meetup, and I believe this is episode 24. So we've done a lot. We started on January 4th, and it's been a lot of fun. It is fun. And it's been a little bit of logistics problems here and there, but we've made it.
Yes, you have.
And you have too.
Well, no, all I have to do is show up and sit down.
Bill's the talent.
Yeah. They don't need to be reminded of that.
Okay, so that's it, Bill.
Yeah, thank goodness.
All right, everybody. Goodbye.